Hey, Washington Commanders fans. I have three absolutely crucial pieces of news you need to know before the game against the Broncos, and each one will help you understand exactly what's at stake in this final stretch of the season. The first piece of news brings a brutal prediction from a fantasy football analyst who believes our defense is going to embarrass itself. But is he right, or did he miss some important information? The second officially confirms the return of a key player who has been out for weeks and brings other roster moves that show how we are preparing. And the third explains why this return might be much more significant than it seems at first glance, and how it could impact not just the rest of this season, but also the entire next one. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on the notification bell because you don't want to miss any analysis on the Commanders. And leave a like if you believe we can surprise everyone. Let's start by talking about this brutal prediction that has come out and is leaving many people frustrated. We already know that absolutely none of the analysts at NFL.com believe the Washington Commanders will beat the Denver Broncos this weekend on Sunday Night Football. Playing at home against the leaders of the AFC West, it is widely expected that the Commanders will extend their horrible losing streak to 7 consecutive games, even with the highly anticipated return of wide receiver Terry McLaurin against the Broncos. Taking the predictions a step further and more specifically, NFL.com fantasy football analyst Marcus Grant not only believes that Denver will easily defeat Washington, he thinks quarterback Bo Nix will have an absolutely great and dominant performance throughout the game against our defense. Grant wrote that if you listen to the NFL Fantasy Football podcast, you know that they all believe in Bo and his potential. Nix has been a true boon for fantasy players, even if he hasn't always been consistent throughout the season. This week, however, the trend is extremely unfavorable for the Commanders, according to him. 5 times this entire season, Washington has allowed a quarterback to throw 3 or more touchdown passes in a single game. He expects the inconsistent Nix to raise that number to 6 during Sunday's game. It's a brutal and humiliating prediction that basically says our defense is going to be completely dominated. But wait, because while Grant is correct in stating that the Commanders' defense has given up a lot of points to opposing quarterbacks throughout the season, this concerning trend shifted somewhat significantly the last time the team took the field. In Week 11 in Spain against the Miami Dolphins, the defense didn't allow a single touchdown pass to quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who is one of the best in the league. It was only the second time all year that Washington's defense did not allow at least 1 touchdown by pass. The last time being back in Week 1 against the New York Giants and former Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson. So, what exactly changed in Week 11 compared to all those previous horrible weeks? Coach Dan Quinn personally commanding the defense is exactly what made the difference. Quinn specifically talked about what he liked about the defense in the last game, saying he really appreciated the urgency first and foremost, the rapid team unity to truly commit and establish the play correctly. The Miami Dolphins, with their constant formation changes and quick movements, were traditionally a team that could create serious problems gaining advantages thanks to their speed. That was exactly what he wanted to see the defense neutralize. He wanted to see us playing in the red zone with a solid and aggressive formation, wanted to see the defensive linemen consistently pressuring the quarterback. What he urgently wants to see improve are our chances of winning with forced turnovers, but those were some of the things he really liked to see. He felt the true physicality and really liked that because when you are playing, that's exactly what you want to see and feel. And you make a big play and see it happen in real time. There was a special energy, a genuine commander energy that he felt they brought to some of those important stops on 4th down, creating valuable opportunities for the offense as well. Although Quinn's defense did not force any turnovers against the Dolphins, which is frustrating, it remained extremely stout in the red zone, giving up only 10 points on 4 different possessions that ended within our own 20-yard line. Additionally, the Commanders' defense managed 3 important sacks on Tagovailoa after not recording a single sack in the 2 previous games combined. Of course, Quinn would have preferred his defense to get some interceptions and not be forced to hold the offense in the red zone so often. But the advances are extremely important nonetheless and show real progress. If Washington can take one more significant step forward on Sunday night against the Broncos, it won't just completely frustrate Grant's arrogant prediction. It could very well lead to an unexpected and shocking victory at the beginning of December that would change the entire narrative. Now, let's move on to the second piece of news that officially confirms something we've been waiting for weeks. The Washington Commanders officially announced that they activated safety Will Harris from the injured list after he missed 8 consecutive games. He is expected to return this Sunday against the Denver Broncos, which is absolutely fantastic news. Harris is a former player for the Lions and Saints and started the 2025 season as a full-time starter after signing a 2-year, $8 million contract with the Commanders in free agency. He made 11 solid tackles in 3 games before suffering a severe fibula fracture in the Week 3 victory over the Raiders, which was devastating. Since then, the Commanders have been dealing with an endless array of other injuries during this completely horrible start to the season with 3 wins and 8 losses. Knowing that Harris would be out for a significant period, The Commanders strategically signed veteran Darnell Savage to help fill the important gap. Unfortunately, the former Packer and Jaguar hasn't had much real impact in Washington. With Savage primarily playing as a backup, Jeremy Reeves stepped into the starting safety position alongside Quan Martin. Reeves has mainly contributed on special teams since the beginning of his career in Washington back in 2018, but he has reached his personal best numbers as a starter this season with 7 games, 63 tackles, and 3 passes defended. In addition to welcoming Harris back, the Commanders made a number of other important moves on Saturday to show how they are adjusting their roster. The team signed long snapper Zach Triner to the practice squad and immediately promoted him to the active roster. They also promoted defensive end TJ Maguranyanga from the practice squad and placed wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks on the injured list of the practice squad. Triner has accumulated 84 games with the Buccaneers and Dolphins between 2019 and 2024, with 81, specifically with Tampa Bay. He will make his season debut this Sunday if Commanders' long snapper Tyler Ott cannot play due to being questionable with an illness and back injury. These moves may seem small, but they can make a difference in specific moments of the games. And now we arrive at the third piece of news that explains why Will Harris's return is much more significant than just having another player available. Despite the Washington Commanders having a dismal record of 3 wins and 8 losses, there is still absolutely a lot to watch and evaluate in the last 6 games of the season. It all starts with the home game against the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football after a refreshing bye week. The defense showed a truly significant improvement under the direct leadership of Coach Dan Quinn in the last game, as we have discussed, and we need to see this positive evolution maintained over the coming weeks. Devastating injuries quickly derailed the season, including several starters for a good portion of it, but that does not fully justify the poor performances we've had. The Commanders will finally have the return of safety Will Harris, who can make a real difference at the end of the year, and also show that he will be a reliable and solid starter for the entire next season. Harris has been out since fracturing his fibula in Week 3 against the Las Vegas Raiders and is finally returning at the final stretch of the season when we need him most. The secondary has been struggling tremendously throughout the entire season, and Harris could be a significant boost against tough opponents in the last 6 weeks. Both Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. have repeatedly praised Harris and specifically commented on how his absence severely hurt the secondary, mainly due to a lack of proper communication on plays. Harris is an experienced veteran player who can elevate the level of the entire secondary around him and give the coaching staff something valuable to observe as they evaluate the roster with an eye to the future. It's also worth noting that Quinn significantly reduced Quan Martin's playing time last week, which was quite significant, so we will have to see exactly how the rotation will work with Harris's return. Don't be surprised at all if Harris and Darnell Savage are the initial starting safeties. Quinn knows perfectly well that he needs to seek victories to maintain credibility while also pursuing the larger goal of developing young players and evaluating the roster. The defense is undoubtedly going to undergo a massive overhaul this offseason. Quinn will have to find his next defensive coordinator for the upcoming season, considering Joe Witt Jr.'s situation, and whoever takes the position will need to present their complete plan and define who can play in each specific position. Harris can play both safety and cornerback, which provides tactical versatility and showed real flashes of talent before his unfortunate injury. Harris signed a 2-year contract with the Commanders, so he is still under guaranteed contract for next season, which is great. Being able to secure a spot as a reliable starter on defense will be a significant help for a roster that has many urgent needs this offseason. This also doesn't prevent them from bolstering the position by selecting a player like Caleb Downs with Harris's versatility in the draft if they wish. Finishing the season with good performance and positive momentum will be a great psychological boost. So the final question I leave for you to reflect on and answer in the comments is, considering that Will Harris is finally returning after months away, that the defense showed significant improvement under the direct command of Dan Quinn in the last game, and that we have an analyst predicting that Bo Nix will completely dominate us. Do you believe that Harris's return and the renewed energy of the defense will be enough to prove the analyst completely wrong and help us hold the Broncos at home? Or will the humiliating prediction come to fruition and we see our defense being dominated once again despite all these positive changes we've made?